Does the 1,000 a month retirement dream still exist in 2026? You've probably seen the videos. We all have. Beautiful beaches, $2 street food, gorgeous apartments that cost less than your car payment. They're selling a fantasy, an escape from the inflation here at home that is crushing the American retirement dream. But today we're not just talking about the fantasy, we're talking about the reality. Because those videos, they always forget to ask one critical question. The one question that actually keeps our 55 plus audience awake at night. What happens if you have a heart attack at 3 a.m. in Merida? What happens if you slip and break a hip in Da Nang? What does a 1,000 a month cost of living mean if one $50,000 medical bill wipes out your entire life savings? It's time to talk about the brutal truth. The fact check no one else is doing. According to Medicare.gov, the moment you move outside the United States as a retiree, 99.9% of your Medicare benefits are gone. They vanish. You are on your own. A cheap retirement is a dangerous trap. It's an illusion. A smart retirement, even on a tight budget, is one where your health care is secured first. So today, we're going on the hunt. We're looking for that $1,000 a month sweet spot, but we're not just looking for the cheapest places. We're looking for the smartest places. We're running the top 10 list, but through a brand new filter. We're not just looking at rent and groceries. We're looking at the real cost of expat health insurance for a 60-year-old. We're looking at the number of JCI-accredited hospitals. That's the American gold standard. We're looking at your access to English-speaking doctors. Today, we find the 10 countries that don't just pass the cost of living tests. They have to pass the healthcare security test. This is the list for smart retirees. Let's begin. The top 10 healthcare secure list. Number 10, Mexico. We start with the classic, Mexico. For American retirees, this is often called living abroad with training wheels. You've got familiar groceries, easy flights home, decent infrastructure, and tacos that will ruin you for life in the best possible way. Now, if you try to live in the trendiest corner of Mexico City, your $1,000 budget will evaporate. But the baseline cost of living, it's still achievable. Forget the tourist traps. Look at mid-sized cities like Puebla, Merida, or Lake Chapala. In these areas, a frugal couple can still live a very comfortable life for around $1,000 to $200 a month. Rent for a nice one-bedroom outside the city center can be $400 to $550. Groceries are fresh and incredibly cheap. But that's the baseline. Let's talk about what really matters. Healthcare security. Mexico's healthcare system is a tale of two worlds, the public system and the private system. The private system is frankly excellent. In major and mid-sized cities, you will find dozens of hospitals accredited by the Joint Commission International, JCI. That JCI stamp means they are held to the exact same standards as a top hospital in the United States. You will find world-class facilities at the ABC Medical Center or the Angeles Network. Many doctors are U.S. trained and speak perfect English, so what's the cost? There are two main strategies for healthcare in Mexico. First, you can get private expat health insurance. A good plan from a provider like GNP or AXA for a healthy 60-year-old might run you $200 to $400 a month. It's not cheap, but it's a fraction of what you'd pay in the U.S. for similar coverage. The second strategy, which we see a lot, is what I call the border strategy. Many expats, especially in areas like Lake Chapala or Rosarito, keep their U.S. Medicare Part A and B. They live on Mexico's cheap cost of living, but for any complex pre-planned surgery, they drive back across the border to the U.S. It's a hybrid approach that combines the best of both worlds. Subscriber Doug from Minnesota, who moved to Merida, told us a story. He was shocked when he bought 20 mangoes for the price of a Happy Meal, but he was truly impressed when he had to get a dental crown. And the entire procedure at a state-of-the-art clinic cost him $50. That, he said, is the real security. Number 9, Ecuador. Ecuador is the quiet star of South America. It's a scenic postcard that doesn't trigger heart palpitations when you get the bill. The primary hotspot for retirees is Cuenca, a beautiful, walkable city with a colonial center. Here, the cost of living is genuinely low. A frugal expat can comfortably live on $900 to $1,100 a month. Rent for a modern apartment outside the city center can be as low as $300 to $450. Utilities are cheap. The food is cheap. But let's look at its healthcare security. Ecuador's healthcare was, for a long time, the number one reason expats moved there. They had a public system called IESS that, for a small monthly fee of around $80, would cover everything, regardless of age or pre-existing conditions. Now let's fact-check this in 2025. That system still exists, but the reality has changed. According to International Living and Expat forums, the IESS system is now heavily overloaded and slow. It can take 5 to 6 months just to get your application approved. Because of this, the smart strategy for retirees in Ecuador has shifted. The public system is a nice-to-have backup, but the real value is in the private system. The private hospitals in Cuenca and Quito are excellent, and private expat health insurance is still very affordable. For a 60-year-old, a comprehensive private plan might cost between $150 and $250 a month. And for routine care, many expats just pay out of pocket. Why? Because a visit to a top specialist, a cardiologist, an orthopedist, without an appointment will cost you about $40. Subscribers Frank and Linda from Tampa moved to Cuenca with 2 suitcases and a crock pot. Linda told us she feels safer in Cuenca than she did in Florida, not just because of the low crime, but because she knows a top-rated English-speaking hospital is 10 minutes away, and a visit won't threaten their retirement. That's peace of mind. Number 8. Colombia. Colombia's comeback story is one of the most impressive in the world. Forget what you think you know from the 90s. Today, cities like Medellin, the city of eternal spring, are hubs for digital nomads, entrepreneurs, and yes, smart retirees. The cost of living is on the rise, but a budget of $1,000 is still very feasible, especially in lovely secondary cities like Manizales or Pereira. Rent is low, the food is world-class, the infrastructure is modern, but the healthcare security, this is where Colombia truly shines. Now, you may have heard an old statistic that the WHO ranked Colombia's healthcare in the top 25, higher than the US and Canada. Let's be clear, that ranking is from the year 2000. It's 25 years old. We don't use it. Here's the real 2025 data. According to the respected South American business journal, Americanomia, Colombia consistently has some of the best-ranked hospitals in all of Latin America. 9 of the top 50 hospitals in Latin America are right there in Colombia. The private healthcare system in Medellin, at hospitals like Pablo Tobón Uribe, is a global center for medical tourism. Their quality is not just good for the price, it's just plain good. And the cost? This is the kicker. Colombia's private insurance, through providers like Sura, is incredibly affordable if you sign up before you turn 65. For a healthy person in their late 50s or early 60s, a top-tier private plan can cost as little as $100 to $150 a month. That is, without a doubt, one of the best healthcare values on the planet. Subscriber Frank from Denver moved to Medellin for the weather. He told us the fresh fruit smoothies are amazing. But the real reason he's staying? I have a premium health insurance plan here, he wrote, that cost me $130 a month. Back in Denver, I was paying over $800 for worse coverage. I'm never leaving. That's not just cheap. That's smart. Number 7. Albania. All right, let's head to Europe. When you think retire in Europe, you probably don't think affordable. But Albania is the exception. It's like moving to Italy or Greece, but at a 70% discount. The capital city, Tirana, is vibrant and colorful. The coastal cities like Sarandi are stunning. And the cost of living? It's almost hard to believe. A frugal retiree can easily live on $800 to $1,000 a month. Rent for a 1-bedroom in Tirana is $350. Food is fresh, local, and cheap. A full dinner with a glass of wine? Maybe $10. It sounds perfect, but now we must apply our healthcare security test, and this, frankly, is where Albania's score drops. The cost of living is an A+. The healthcare system is a C. Let's be very direct, citing guidance from the U.S. State Department. The public healthcare system in Albania is not up to Western standards. You do not want to end up in a public hospital there for a serious issue. This means you are 100% reliant on the private system. There are good private hospitals like the American Hospital in Tirana, which are staffed with many doctors trained in Italy or Germany. But to access this, you must have private insurance. So your 1,000 a month budget is not really $1,000. Your budget must include an extra $150 to $200 a month for a solid international health insurance plan. Albania represents a trade-off. You are trading ultimate healthcare security for the absolute lowest cost of living in Europe. Subscriber Karen from Ohio said she landed in Tirana for a 1-month trial. 6 months later, she knew all the local bakers by name. She loves the cafes and the lifestyle, but she was also very clear in her advice. Do not come here without a premium international insurance plan. Consider that $200 a month part of your rent. It is a non-negotiable. That's the reality check. Number 6. Georgia. No, not Atlanta. We're talking about the country of Georgia, at the crossroads of Europe and Asia. The capital, Tbilisi, is one of the most charming cities in the world. It's ancient, it's beautiful, and it's still surprisingly cheap. You can live a very full life here on $900 to $1,100 a month. The food is legendary. The people are famously welcoming. So let's run the test. Healthcare security. Georgia's system is improving at a lightning-fast pace. You're seeing a lot of new modern clinics, many staffed by young European-trained doctors. And the cost of local insurance is shockingly low. You can get basic plans from providers like GPI or TBC for as little as $30 to $50 a month. But just like in the original video, we have to look closer. This is a classic you get what you pay for scenario. Those $50 plans are not comprehensive. They have very low payout caps and a lot of exclusions. They're fine for a broken arm, but not for cancer. For serious Western-style care, you need to go to the high-end international clinics like EVEX. And for that, you'll either need a full international policy, which costs $250 a month or more, or you'll pay out of pocket. The other major hurdle is the language. Outside of those top-tier clinics, the language barrier is significant. Subscriber Steve from Chicago said the people are the friendliest he's ever met. But he stressed that he had to learn how to say, "I have pain here," in Georgian. He said he's comfortable with the trade-off, but you have to be honest with yourself. Are you? We're about to crack into the top 5, which includes some of the best value healthcare in the world. But I wanted to quickly thank today's sponsor, Magic Spoon. And now back to the list. Number 5, the Philippines. If your retirement plan includes beaches, island hopping, and a culture that genuinely loves and welcomes Americans, the Philippines is a top contender. The cost of living, especially in second-tier cities like Cebu or Dumaguete, is fantastic. You can live a very happy life on $900 to $1,200 a month, and a huge part of this is the people. The culture of nursing and care is world famous, and, crucially for our test, English is an official language. You will have zero problems communicating with doctors, pharmacists, or hospital administrators. So let's look at the healthcare security. The Philippines, like Mexico, has a dual standard. In Manila, you have hospitals like St. Luke's Medical Center and Makati Med. Let me be clear, these are not just good. These are world-class JCI-accredited institutions. They are massive centers for medical tourism, and their quality is on par with top hospitals in the U.S. But as you get further away from the capital, the quality can drop off very quickly. The strategy here is to live in a city like Cebu, which has good private hospitals, or know that for anything really serious, you're getting on a short flight to Manila. What about cost? The public PhilHealth system isn't really a viable option for expats. You will need private insurance. A good local plan from a provider like Pacific Cross can be very reasonable. And because English is standard, you can read and understand your policy before you have an emergency. Subscriber Bill from Tulsa joked that he moved to Cebu and was immediately adopted by his girlfriend's entire family. He loved the warmth, but he got serious when he talked about his health. He said, My doctor at St. Luke's in Manila trained at Johns Hopkins. I pay $30 for a consultation. Back in Tulsa, I waited 6 weeks to see a doctor who stared at a computer screen. That's a powerful testimonial. Number 4, Indonesia. Indonesia is a vast, stunningly beautiful country. Most people immediately think of one place, Bali. And yes, you can retire in Bali on a budget if you avoid the high-end tourist traps in Seminyak or Kuta. Move to the north, like Lavina, or the east, like Ahmed, and $1,000 a month is very doable. The food is fresh, the lifestyle is relaxed. But you knew there was a but coming. The healthcare security in Bali is a very serious and very expensive problem. Let's be blunt. The hospitals in Bali are good for basic emergencies. A scooter accident, a bad case of Bali belly, you'll be fine at a clinic like BIMC or Siloam. But for a complex heart surgery, a stroke, or a cancer diagnosis, the universal advice from every long-term expat is, get on a plane. The standard procedure for any major medical event in Bali is a medical evacuation flight to Singapore, Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, or Bangkok in Thailand. And those flights are not cheap. Because of this, you cannot get a cheap local health insurance plan. You must have a premium international plan that specifically includes medical evacuation. For a 65-year-old, a plan like that from Cigna or Allianz can cost $300, $400, or even $500 a month. That completely shatters the $1,000 a month budget. So the smart strategy is different. Subscriber Erica from Portland lived in Bali for 2 years. She said it was magical, but she said her $300 a month Cigna plan was her single biggest expense after rent. She told us, you have to think of that insurance premium as paradise tax. It's the non-negotiable ticket price for living there. So can you live in Indonesia for $1,000 a month? Yes, but your total budget, including healthcare security, is closer to $400. That's the reality check. Number 3, Vietnam. Vietnam is, without a doubt, one of the great rising stars of the world. It's safe, it's modernizing at an incredible speed, and the cost of living is still amazingly low. In cities like Da Nang or Hanoi, you can live extremely well on $800 to $100 a month. The food is arguably the best in the world, and it's incredibly healthy. But what about healthcare security? This is where Vietnam becomes a top 3 contender. The public system is overloaded and not for expats. But the private international standard system is outstanding and growing every year. In Ho Chi Minh City, you have FV Hospital. In Hanoi and other major cities, you have the Vinmec International Hospital Network. These facilities are JCI-accredited. They are state-of-the-art, and the cost is shocking. In a good way. Let's use a real-world example. A full hip replacement in the United States costs, on average, over $40,000. At the JCI-accredited FV hospital in Ho Chi Minh City, the entire package for the same procedure is around $10,000. Not with insurance. That's the total price. A comprehensive private insurance plan from a local provider like Bao Viet or Liberty is extremely competitive. Subscriber Pam from Chicago moved to Da Nang for the beach. She loved the street food, but she told us her wow moment came when she went to Vinmec for a full annual checkup. She said, it was like a 5-star hotel. It was cleaner than any hospital I've ever seen in the US. They did a full blood panel, EKG, ultrasounds, the works. The total bill for everything was less than $200. That's not just a good value. That is a secure retirement. Number 2, Paraguay. This is the stealth option. When people think South America, they think of Argentina, Brazil, Peru. Almost nobody thinks of Paraguay. And that is exactly why it's such a good value. It's safe, it's stable, and in the capital, Asuncion, the cost of living is one of the lowest on the continent. A frugal retiree can genuinely live on $800 to $1,000 a month. Rent for a nice apartment? $250 to $350. A full meal at a good restaurant? $8. It's incredibly affordable. But the real secret, the reason it's number 2 on our list, is its unique healthcare security. Paraguay has a system that almost no one knows about. It's not traditional insurance. It's a cooperativa system. These are essentially member-owned hospital systems. Here's how it works. You pay a small, one-time buy-in fee and then a tiny monthly membership fee. We're talking $40 to $60 a month. In exchange for that fee, you get access to their entire network of private hospitals, clinics, and doctors for free or for tiny copays like $2 or $3. This isn't a low-quality public system. This is a high-quality private system. It's an astonishing value. Subscriber Janet from Boston was just passing through Paraguay on vacation. She discovered the cooperativa system and never left. She now runs her own small grill in Asunción. She told us, "I'm a member of the San Camilo Cooperativa. I pay about $40 a month. That covers me for dental, specialists, lab work, everything. It's the best peace of mind $40 can buy. I don't worry about getting sick anymore." That is the definition of healthcare security. And now, before we get to number one, if you're getting value from this analysis, please click that subscribe button. We go deep on these topics every single week. All right, let's find out the number one spot. Number one, Cambodia. If you are looking for the absolute rock bottom, cheapest place to stretch a dollar, this is it. We're in Phnom Penh, the capital. Here, the $1,000 a month budget isn't a frugal budget. It's a comfortable budget. You can rent a one-bedroom apartment for $200 to $320. You can eat out for every meal for $10 a day. You can live a very full life here on $700 to $900 a month total. It is, by the numbers, the most affordable country on our list. But it is also number one for a different reason. It is the single highest risk country on our list for healthcare security. This is the other side of the trade-off. Just like in Albania, the public hospitals are to be avoided by expats, period. You are 100% reliant on a very small, very new private system. There is one high-quality hospital, the Royal Phnom Penh Hospital. It is, in fact, run by the same excellent company that runs the Bangkok Hospital in Thailand. But it is expensive. And for any truly complex, life-threatening issue, the standing order for all expats is the same as in Bali. Get on a plane to Bangkok. Living in Cambodia means your $800 a month budget is a fantasy unless you have one other thing, a separate, dedicated medical evacuation fund of at least $5,000 in cash, and a premium international insurance plan that will cover you in Thailand. So we have a paradox. Cambodia is the cheapest place to live, but it's one of the most expensive and dangerous places to get sick. One subscriber who has lived in Phnom Penh for 5 years told us, and I quote, "You don't live in Cambodia for the health care. You live here despite the health care. You save so much on living, you can afford the flight to Bangkok when you need it. But you must have that emergency plan." Conclusion and call to action. So as we've seen, not all 1,000 a month countries are created equal. There is a profound difference between a cheap retirement and a smart retirement. A cheap retirement in a place like Cambodia or Albania means you are trading security for cost. It's a gamble, a bet that you'll stay healthy. A smart retirement in a place like Colombia, Vietnam, or Paraguay is one where you find the balance. The places where the cost of living is low, but the healthcare security is high, that's the real sweet spot. Of course, all of this is just step one. This analysis of cost of living and healthcare is only half the story. The other half, the most critical part, is understanding exactly what happens to your benefits, your 401k, and your taxes when you make that move. And that is why you absolutely must watch our next video. It's called the Medicare Black Hole, what every retiree must do before moving abroad. It's the essential next step to protecting your retirement. Click the link on the screen. And finally, now I need to hear from you. This is our resonance point. For those of you who have already made the leap, who are living abroad right now, what has been your single biggest unexpected challenge or cost related to healthcare? What do you wish you had known before you moved? Share your wisdom in the comments section below. Your story might just save someone from making a very expensive mistake. Thank you for watching. Be smart, be safe.